Once upon a time, there was a traveling piper who had a secret. Being a cat who loved to wander about the land, he was eager to play his flute in all sorts of towns that needed his talents. Never staying in one place for too long, there weren't too many spots he wouldn't go to. However, he did have a couple of requirements whenever he planned to visit a town. He only wanted to perform in towns that had delicious food, and strangely, towns with a densely wooded forest. And so, here he was in the town of Bedtime, a mountain town close to the sea. The air was often cool, and the morning fog was a well-known visitor. As he entered the center of town, he took notice of the giant orange flowers covering the hillside, which made the houses nearby look small enough for mushroom folk to live in. There was magic in all of the plants that grew here, and it was the perfect place for his secret. But before that was addressed, he was here for a special event. His musical services were required for a wedding on recommendation from a cousin in another far-off town. Traveling long distances alone had its perks, and he didn't mind it. In fact, he was quite delighted. That night, he performed in the largest tavern in town, and the wedding was full of dancing and cheer. The sound of his flute matched well with the other musicians' instruments, and made the night a memorable one. At midnight, the guests started to go home, and the other musicians also wished him a good night. Good night? Not yet for this cat. It was time for his secret. After every performance in town, he would head into the woods after midnight. With all his luggage pulled behind him, he wasn't afraid of heading deeper into the dark and gloomy forest. His eyes were drawn to a spot, illuminated by the half moon, where the bright flowers were in full bloom. He set down his luggage and sat on it, letting down a satisfied sigh. Under the moonlight, he played a simple tune, and, as if by magic, the air suddenly got very cold. He smiled knowingly against the flute. Why did it get so cold? Well, the ghosts of the forest had come out to watch, peering behind the trees with curious and amused looks, with some floating in confusion towards the clearing, coming from the cemetery nearby. He looked up at them, making eye contact, which surprised them greatly. It was very rare to meet someone who could see ghosts. When the short song finished, a tiny ghost excitedly came up to the cat. "We would like to make a song request," the tiny ghost exclaimed, happy to be seen. It had gathered the courage to come closer, and motivated the other ghosts to do so as well. And so, at their request, the piper played all sorts of songs, ranging from ancient to modern, for the crowd of ghosts that had collected nearby. They swayed and floated around each other as though they were dancing, occasionally humming along when the mood was right. His audience was an eclectic group that had varying tastes, and he couldn't help but laugh when the ghosts fought over which songs should be played next, arguing about the true kings and queens of certain genres. Until dawn, the piper played the songs that the ghosts held closest to their hearts, songs that reminded them of their childhood, their first loves, the foods that they could taste long ago, and the memories that made them who they are, the memories that were important, even though none of them were written down. This was the piper's secret. Ever since he was young, he could see ghosts and talk to them, and when he started to learn how to play the flute, he got song requests from them. Over the years, he realized that music and memories were strongly linked. The songs the ghosts wanted him to play brought back their memories, and it allowed some ghosts to reconcile with their past and be at peace. This motivated the piper to learn to play all kinds of songs, all with the goal of playing the right songs for the ghosts that needed it the most. However, some of these spirits stayed on and had no one left to remember them by, so he visited towns with dense forests to play the songs that mattered to them, keeping the souls that were forgotten company. Even if it was for a short while, they could be seen for who they really were, when no one else could. As the sun came up, and the spirits went back to the places they liked to haunt, he pulled out his map, marking this town on the page so he could come back again next year. And a special thanks to my Raccoon Snacks patrons, Anna Gaylord, Arij, Aglay, Jessica, Julia, Laura Moon, Paige Sullivan, and S. Marie Carlson. Thank you so much.